The emergency department at Harbor Crest Naval Hospital had seen gunshot wounds, helicopter crashes, and battlefield casualties, but nothing prepared its doctors for what happened at 2017 on a rainy Tuesday morning. 3 teenage girls burst through the automatic doors together, soaked from the storm, their faces pale with terror. "Help our father!" one shouted. "Please!" Behind them, 2 paramedics pushed a stretcher carrying Rear Admiral Daniel Voss, a decorated Navy SEAL commander whose name was known in every corridor of the hospital. His blood pressure was collapsing. His chest was rigid. A monitor screamed warnings. Doctors rushed toward him. Then the girls saw the newest nurse standing beside the trauma bay. All 3 stopped. The youngest whispered, "Phoenix." The nurse froze. Another daughter grabbed her sister's arm. "It's her," she breathed. "It's really her." Every doctor in the room turned. Dr. Marcus Hale frowned. "Nurse Carter, step aside." But the girls moved first. "Phoenix, you have to save him." Silence swallowed the trauma bay. Nobody understood the name. Nurse Evelyn Carter looked like the least important person in the hospital. She had been hired 6 weeks earlier, assigned mostly to routine monitoring and supply duty. Senior nurses complained that she was too quiet. Residents called her the Shadow because she never argued, never volunteered opinions, and always seemed to disappear when important people entered the room. Earlier that morning, a surgeon had laughed when she questioned an IV dosage. "Stick to your clipboard, Nurse Carter." She had simply lowered her eyes and said, "Yes, doctor." Now 3 girls were staring at her as if she were the only person capable of keeping their father alive. Evelyn approached the stretcher. "Move him into Bay 3. Dr. Hale snapped, "Excuse me, Bay 3. Now." The chief surgeon stepped between them. "You are not giving orders here." Evelyn looked at Admiral Voss. His pupils were unequal. "His chest trauma is masking a neurological event," she said. "If you intubate him the way you're preparing to, you could kill him." The room went still. Dr. Hale stared at the monitor. "How do you know?" Evelyn didn't answer. One daughter stepped forward. "Because Phoenix trained us to recognize it." That sentence changed everything. Dr. Hale looked from the girls to Evelyn. "Who are you?" Evelyn's jaw tightened. "Right now, I'm his nurse." The Admiral suddenly convulsed. "Pulse 40, prepare for cardiac arrest." Evelyn grabbed the defibrillator. "No shock. His rhythm isn't the problem." Dr. Hale shouted, "Then what is?" "Pressure inside the chest." She pointed. "Needle decompression. Left side, 2nd intercostal space." The trauma surgeon hesitated. Evelyn's voice hardened. "Now." Something in her tone cut through the panic. The surgeon moved. A needle entered. Air exploded from the chest. The monitor stabilized. Nobody breathed. Then the Admiral opened his eyes for half a second. He looked directly at Evelyn. "Phoenix." The word came out like a secret dragged from another life. Then he collapsed again. Dr. Hale slowly lowered his hands. "Who the hell is Phoenix?" Evelyn looked at the 3 girls. "Someone your father promised never to talk about." The oldest daughter began crying. "You saved us before." Evelyn shook her head. "No, your father did. That's not what he told us." Before Evelyn could respond, every light in the trauma bay flickered. The hospital alarm sounded. Not the medical alarm, the security alarm. Red lights flashed across the corridor. A voice announced an internal lockdown. Dr. Hale stared toward the doors. "What is happening?" A security officer ran inside. "Sir, someone breached the restricted surgical floor." The Admiral's daughters huddled together. Evelyn immediately noticed something nobody else did. The security officer's badge was upside down. His uniform was correct. His face was familiar, but his boots were military issue, and he carried himself like someone trained to clear rooms. Evelyn stepped in front of the girls. "Get behind me." Dr. Hale blinked. "Nurse, what are you doing?" She reached beneath her scrub top and pulled out a small black pendant. The Admiral's daughters recognized it instantly. "Phoenix," they whispered. The fake security officer drew a weapon. Evelyn moved before he could aim. She slammed his wrist against the doorframe, twisted the weapon away, and drove him to the floor with a precision that stunned everyone watching. 2 real security officers rushed in. Within seconds, the intruder was restrained. Dr. Hale stared at Evelyn as though he had never seen her before. "You're not a nurse." Evelyn picked up the pendant. "I am." Then what was that? Her eyes hardened. Old training. The Admiral suddenly began bleeding internally. The monitor screamed again. "His pressure is crashing." Evelyn turned immediately. "Open the operating room." The Dr. Hale hesitated. "The surgical team is 5 minutes away. We don't have 5 minutes." He looked at the patient, then at her. "What do you need?" For the first time, Evelyn answered without lowering her eyes. "Everyone who knows how to save a life." The doors flew open. Surgeons ran. Evelyn took control of the trauma bay, calling out medications, blood products, and surgical preparations with astonishing precision. Nobody mocked her now. Nobody questioned her. The triplets watched through the glass, holding hands. Then the eldest noticed something on the wall. A framed photograph showed an elite rescue unit from 12 years earlier. Her finger trembled. That's her. The other girls turned. In the photograph stood a younger Evelyn, wearing a combat uniform, beside their father. But she was not wearing a nurse's badge. She was wearing the insignia of a classified Navy rescue team. Below the photograph was a single name, Lieutenant Commander Evelyn, Phoenix, Carter. The girls stared in disbelief. Their father had never told them the truth. Inside surgery, the Admiral flatlined. Code blue. Evelyn stepped forward. The attending surgeon shouted, "We're losing him." She looked at the monitors, then at the surgical field. "Stop compressions." "What?" "Stop." Everyone froze. Evelyn placed 2 fingers against the Admiral's neck. "His heart isn't gone." The surgeon shook his head. "There's nothing." Evelyn whispered, "Daniel, you stubborn old ghost. You still owe me a promise." The monitor flickered. 1 beat, then another. A heartbeat returned. The operating room erupted. Hours later, Admiral Voss woke in intensive care. His daughter sat beside him. Evelyn stood near the doorway. Daniel looked at her. "You came back." "I never left." His eyes filled with tears. "I thought Phoenix died." "She did," Evelyn said softly. "The day your team was trapped overseas." The girls looked confused. Daniel reached for their hands. "She saved my life that night. She saved all 3 of you before you were even old enough to understand what happened." Evelyn shook her head. "No. I made a choice." Daniel smiled weakly. "You always did." One daughter stood. "Why did you become a nurse?" Evelyn looked at her father. "Because after a lifetime of learning how to stop people from dying, I wanted to learn how to help them live." The room became quiet. Dr. Hale entered, humbled. He removed his surgical gloves. "Nurse Carter." Evelyn turned. "I owe you an apology." She smiled gently. "You owe me nothing." He shook his head. "No, I owe you respect." Outside the room, the hospital staff gathered silently. The nurse everyone had ignored was now the woman they had all come to admire. But Evelyn never asked for praise. She simply walked to the window as rain washed the city below. Behind her, the triplets approached. The youngest whispered, "Phoenix." Evelyn turned. The girl smiled. "Thank you for coming back." Evelyn knelt and held her hand. "I was never gone." But the biggest revelation came before sunrise. Investigators discovered the intruder had not come for the Admiral's body, his records, or classified information. He had come for Evelyn. 12 years earlier, Phoenix had uncovered a smuggling network inside a military evacuation program. She vanished after exposing it, protecting witnesses who included 3 frightened children. Those children were the Admiral's daughters. Their father had spent years believing the danger was finally buried. It wasn't. Evelyn had taken the hospital job because intelligence warned that someone was searching again. She had stayed silent because revealing Phoenix could put the girls at risk. That night, the secret was no longer hidden. It was finally finished. Or so they thought. And somewhere beneath the noise of machines, rain, and distant helicopters, Admiral Voss closed his eyes peacefully. For years, people had believed heroes wore uniforms, carried weapons, and stood in front of crowds. But sometimes a hero wears ordinary scrubs, keeps her head down, and lets everyone underestimate her. Sometimes the strongest person in the room is the one nobody notices. And sometimes, the person who saves a life is not the person with the loudest voice, the highest rank, or the biggest reputation. It is the person who remembers why that life matters. If this story touched your heart, subscribe for more unforgettable stories of courage, sacrifice, and hidden heroes.